Koji contains many enzymes that help bring out the umami of ingredients and allow flavors to penetrate more easily. The enzymes in koji are sensitive to temperature, working best at around 55 to 60 degrees Celsius. You'll need 200 grams of dried rice koji, 60 grams of salt, which is about 30% of the amount of koji, and about 280 milliliters of water. I'll introduce 3 methods: fermenting naturally, fermenting with a rice cooker, and fermenting with a yogurt maker. Today, I'm going to share 3 easy methods for fermenting koji at home to make Shio Koji, a Japanese fermented umami seasoning that is an essential superfood with over 1,000 years of history in Japanese cuisine. I've explained koji in detail in a previous video, so if you haven't seen it yet, please be sure to check it out later. In this video, I'll be assuming that you're using ready-made dried koji. Dried koji has recently become available on overseas sites like Amazon, so I think it's something everyone can easily try. You can also make koji from scratch at home using koji starter, but I'll cover that in another video, so please look forward to it. Shio Koji has been used in Japanese cuisine since ancient times, and recently, thanks to its amazing health benefits and its ability to transform simple ingredients into something truly delicious with its umami, it's been attracting attention from all over the world. So let's get started. First, I want to tell you that Shio Koji is a traditional Japanese fermented seasoning made from just 3 simple ingredients: koji, salt, and water. The koji mold, called Aspergillus oryzae, has actually been designated as Japan's national fungus. It's the same beneficial mold used to make miso, soy sauce, sake, mirin, and more. First, here's what you'll need to make koji. You'll need 200 grams of dried rice koji, 60 grams of salt, which is about 30% of the amount of koji, and about 280 milliliters of water. Please prepare these ingredients first. You'll also need a clean glass jar or container. Make sure to thoroughly clean and sterilize your utensils, either by boiling them or using alcohol. This is to prevent unwanted bacteria from growing. The enzymes in koji are sensitive to temperature, working best at around 55 to 60 degrees Celsius. I always ferment at about 55 degrees. If the temperature goes higher, the enzyme activity gradually decreases, and once it approaches 70 degrees, the enzymes start to die off. I'll introduce 3 methods: fermenting naturally, fermenting with a rice cooker, and fermenting with a yogurt maker. If there's a method you're interested in, you can use the timestamps in the description to skip to that part of the video and check it out. So first, let me show you how to ferment Shio Koji using a yogurt maker. Out of the 3 methods I'm introducing today, the most reliable way to make delicious Shio Koji overnight is with a yogurt maker. This is actually the method I always use myself. If you have a yogurt maker at home, I highly recommend giving it a try. First, take the yogurt maker. Add 200 grams of rice koji, 60 grams of salt, and 280 milliliters of water to the container and mix well. Set the yogurt maker to 55 degrees Celsius and the timer to 8 hours. Some people ferment at a higher temperature, but I always use around 55 degrees Celsius because I want to prioritize the activity of the enzymes. If the temperature exceeds 60 degrees Celsius, there is a risk of losing some beneficial microorganisms and enzymes. Since I want to make salt koji while preserving as many valuable enzymes as possible, the temperature is very important. Unlike the natural fermentation method, a yogurt maker is very convenient because it maintains a constant temperature, so there is no need to stir during fermentation. After 8 hours, when the timer goes off, check the contents. If the koji grains have broken down and become soft, it's done. The yogurt maker is a very convenient tool because you can prepare everything before going to bed at night, and when you wake up in the morning, your salt koji is ready. Also, if you blend or mash it into a paste with a blender or mixer and transfer it to a clean jar, it becomes even more convenient. Please store it in the refrigerator as is. A yogurt maker, which can maintain a constant temperature and finish in 8 hours, makes it very easy and reliable to create delicious salt koji. This is the method I recommend the most. Next, although it takes a little more time to complete, I will now explain this method. First, prepare a container and mix the salt and koji. In a clean jar or container, combine 200 grams of rice koji and 60 grams of salt. Mix them thoroughly using clean hands or utensils. Then, pour in about 280 milliliters of water. Mix everything well until all the koji is moistened. Next, put the lid on. It's better to keep the lid slightly loose because gas will be produced during the fermentation of the Shio Koji. So don't seal the lid tightly, leave it a bit loose. However, since this makes it easier for unwanted bacteria to get in, if you're concerned about that, use a larger container and make sure to stir it every day. Let it sit for about a week at a temperature of around 20 to 25 degrees Celsius. The number of days will vary depending on the climate. In warmer seasons, it can be ready in about a week, while in colder seasons, it may take longer. By stirring it once a day, the same parts are exposed to air, which helps prevent mold from forming. Be sure to stir it once a day. When the rice grains become soft, easily break apart, and give off a banana-like aroma, it's ready. Store it in the refrigerator. Also, among the 3 methods, this one takes the most time and requires stirring every day. If you want to make Shio Koji more easily and quickly, it might be a good idea to try one of the other 2 methods. And finally, I'll explain how to ferment Shio Koji using a rice cooker. This method is also perfect if you want to make a large batch of Shio Koji at once. By using Ziploc bags, you can even separate the bags and make both Shio Koji and amazake at the same time. The tools you'll need are a rice cooker, a medium or large size Ziploc bag, and about 55 degrees Celsius hot water. You'll also need a cloth for the rice cooker and a damp cloth. Please prepare one of each. As for the method, put 200 grams of rice koji, 60 grams of salt, and 280 milliliters of water into the Ziploc bag and knead it thoroughly. Next, line the inside of the rice cooker with the cloth and stand the bag upright inside. One thing to be careful about, leave about a finger's width open at the end of the zipper. This is because gas may be produced during fermentation, which could cause the bag to swell up. Then pour in hot water at about 55 to 58 degrees Celsius. Make sure the contents of the Ziploc bag are fully submerged in the hot water. Next, cover it with a damp cloth, press the Keep Warm button, and leave it for 8 to 10 hours. Be sure to use only the Keep Warm mode. Never use the rice cooking function, only the Keep Warm setting. If possible, check and stir every 2 to 3 hours. As a precaution, do not close the lid of the rice cooker. Keep it warm with the N-labed bacteria applied. If you mix equal parts of water and boiling water, it will be about 60 degrees Celsius, so use that as a guideline when adding hot water. However, when putting the mixture into the rice cooker, always add the water first, then the boiling water. If you add the boiling water first, it will be quite hot, exceeding 70 degrees Celsius, and the higher order enzymes will stop working. And after 8 hours, it's done. If you like, you can use a blender to make it creamy, then store it in the refrigerator. Using a rice cooker is convenient when making large quantities or different varieties at once, but temperature control can be a bit tricky. It's a good idea to occasionally check and adjust the water temperature with a thermometer. So I've shared 3 different ways to make Shio Koji. What did you think? After it's finished, store it in a good airtight container in the refrigerator, and it will keep well for up to about 6 months. However, if you leave it at room temperature, fermentation may continue and it could develop an alcoholic smell. Also, a little bit of liquid separation is normal. Just stir it back together. From here, I'll introduce some easy recipes using Shio Koji. Let me show you a recipe for onion lemon sauce made with Shio Koji. The ingredients are 1/4 of an onion, 2 tablespoons of sesame oil, 1.5 tablespoons of Shio Koji, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, half a teaspoon of veggie broth or vegan Chinese soup stock, and half a teaspoon of grated garlic. First, finely chop the onion. Add 2 tablespoons of sesame oil, 1.5 tablespoons of Shio Koji, and 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. Put half a teaspoon of vegetable broth or vegan Chinese soup stock and half a teaspoon of grated garlic into a bowl and mix everything together thoroughly. And that's it, it's done. Just pour it over your salad as a dressing and you can enjoy fermented foods along with your usual salad. Even simple ingredients like tofu or tomatoes become a feast, almost like magic. It can be stored in the refrigerator for about 4 days, so please give it a try. People often ask me, which is better, store-bought Shio Koji or homemade Shio Koji? Recently, I've seen store-bought versions being sold overseas as well. It's not that one is better than the other, but with homemade Shio Koji, you can enjoy the gentle aroma of the koji and the interesting changes in the ingredients. It really expands the enjoyment of food. You can also adjust it to suit your preferred taste. And I think the appeal lies in being able to nurture it into your own unique flavor. It's common to see white mold-like spots, and sometimes it can even change color. The white substance is most likely a film that forms during the fermentation process. While it is harmless, please remove it before use just to be safe. However, if you see mold of other colors, such as green or black, I recommend discarding it. I often get asked whether using Shio Koji leads to excessive salt intake. Of course, Shio Koji does contain salt. However, thanks to the umami from the koji, you can achieve a well-balanced flavor even with a small amount. By using it, you can add not only saltiness but also umami to your everyday meals. When grilling or frying, it's common for the frying pan to get scorched. However, seasonings like Shio Koji contain sugars and amino acids derived from the koji, which makes them a bit more prone to burning. Try cooking over medium heat or lower and gently scrape off any koji from the surface to help prevent burning. Koji contains many enzymes that help bring out the umami of ingredients and allow flavors to penetrate more easily, so just using it can elevate the deliciousness of your everyday dishes. In addition, it contains antioxidants that suppress the activity of reactive oxygen species, which are a cause of aging and disease, as well as amylase, which aids digestion and helps maintain a healthy intestinal environment. It is also rich in oligosaccharides, which help boost immunity, as well as dietary fiber, so you can expect various health and beauty benefits. Be sure to give it a try. Today I introduced 3 methods for making Shio Koji at home. The fermented umami seasoning that has been cherished in Japanese cuisine for over 1,000 years not only makes food delicious, but also supports gut health, promotes nutrient absorption, and creates amazing umami while reducing sodium intake. Please enjoy interacting with koji mold at home as well. If you found this video helpful, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and support us.